โอเค
ขอบคุณครับ Good morning everybody and welcome to the Dhamma program of Dhamma for Life on the page of ธรรมยตารามะ and the page of วัดพุทธปัญญานันทารามะ Vancouver Canada say hello to everybody from Thailand and the corner of the world and this is the program of the Dhamma today we are going to talk about the hindrances, the obstacle, or nivarana, the obstacle, or we call it upasak in Thai เป็นอุปสรรคของผู้ที่เจริญกรรมฐานทั้งวิปัสสนาและสมถะมักจะเผชิญกับอุปสรรคดังต่อไปนี้คือนิวรณะทั้ง5นิวรณ์5 let's go in detail of the nivarana or the mental hindrances today. I would like to refer to some sutta that appear in the Buddhist scripture or Tripitaka. That unshakable deliverance of the mind is the highest goal in the Buddha doctrine. Here, mean that deliverance means the freeing of the mind from all limitation, the fetters and bonds that tied the mind to the wheel of suffering, to the circle of rebirth. So it means the cleansing of the mind of all defilements that mar its purity, the removing of the obstacles that bar its progress from the mundane. Mean mundane here is mean lokiya to the supramundane consciousness, lokutara citta. That is meaning of the arahantaship. Many are the obstacles which block the road to the spiritual progress. That but there are altogether 5 particular which the name of hindrances means nivarana that oftenly mentioned in the Buddhist scripture, and we can go into detail this morning. The first one is called, I will go one by one first and then we shall go in deeper detail retro. The first one is a sensual desire, or in Pali we call kama chanta. Second one is the ill will or payabata. Third one is called sloth and torpor, tinna mitta. The fourth one is called restlessness and remorse, uttaja, kutkuja in Pali. And the last one is, I would like to use the English word as the skeptical doubt, or we call it vichikicha. They are together called the hindrances because they hinder and envelop the mind in many ways, obstructing the development or what we call it pavana. Pavana is a Pali meaning the development of the mind. According to the Buddhist teaching, the spiritual development is of two folds. The first one is through the tranquility what we call it the samatha bhavana, and through the insight we call it vipassana bhavana. So for the tranquility is to be gained by complete concentration of the mind during the meditative absorption, or what we call it jhana, as I used to mention many places, many times on my class, in my class. For achieving this absorption, the overcoming of the 5 hindrances, at least temporarily, is a preliminary condition. It is especially in the context of achieving the absorption that the Buddha often mentioned the 5 hindrances in his discourse. There are 5 mental constituents which are chiefly representative of the first meditative absorption and are therefore called the factor of the absorption. We call it Ongjana or Jhana Angka. For each of these, according to the Buddhist commentarial tradition, one of the 5 hindrances that is especially the harmful for it and excluded the higher development and refinement to a degree that required for jhana, and on the other hand, the cultivation of these 5 factors that I used to mention, maybe I can repeat again, that is vitakka, vikara, piti, sukha, and ekakhata, which is having a quality of equanimity mind. So these are called the factors that the cultivation of the 5 factors beyond an average level will be an antidote against the hindrances. So, through my meditation experience that I initially taught by or master, or the instruction was given from my mom directly and also my teacher in India. We in the teaching style of my mom and also teaching same style as my master meditation teacher in India, they are not really focusing on the hindrances. What I focus on, my mom also same style meditation, focus on how to gain the factor of absorption. Because we believe that the factor, or what we call it, Ongjana, we believe that Ongjana will remove spontaneously the hindrances, and it works so. But however, in the commentary tradition, they also bring about the 5 hindrances as something that we have to remove, and that's why we can also study about it in order to make sure that, okay, from the tradition or from the practice, it can come to the end, the same destination, that we can remove all the defilements that blocking the meditation to be success. There are altogether 5, and each one of them is, according to the commentary, they are trying to block or harmful, but they cannot stay longer when we achieve the absorptive stage of mind. But not only the meditative absorption, but also lesser the degree of the mental concentration are impeded by these 5 hindrances. So it's what is called the upachara samadhi still have a sense, still have the interruption of the hindrances. We call it neighborhood concentration, the upachara samadhi, being the preliminary stage for the fully absorbed concentration, what we call it appana samadhi, where that state of mind is in the jhana. Likewise, excluded by the presence of hindrances is the momentary concentration, that is called kanika samadhi, which is, you're going to be disturbed by hindrance, one of them or all of them. If you are only in the kanika samadhi, which has the strength of the neighborhood concentration and is required for a major insight, when you want to move up for the vipassana, then you have to be ready with the appana samadhi, or at least the kanika samadhi, so that you can start you can experience the nivarana, but at the same time you have a tool to remove it. That is what we call it, the ankachana or jhana anka. Apart from this higher stage of the mental development, and any earnest attempt at clear thinking and pure living will be seriously affected by the presence of the 5 hindrances. The widespread harmful influence of the 5 hindrances really show the urgent necessity of breaking down their power by constant effort. One should not believe in it sufficient to turn one's attention to hindrances only at the moment when one sitting down for the meditation. Such a last minute effort is really having a suppressive power to overcome the hindrances, and then the meditation will be successful unless during the meditation it can be endowed, and not only meditation. If we can remove the 5 hindrances from our life, our life will be successful. So one who earnestly aspires to unshakable deliverance of the mind should therefore select a definite working ground of direct and practical import. The first one is kamachanta. It's really in this wide sense on which the structure of his entire life should be based, holding fast to the working ground, never losing sight of it. for long. That's very common, for everyone to have the kama chanta. That's what I mean. I would like to talk about the sutta, one of the sutta that really mentioned every in the all the school of the Buddhism, that the doubt is eliminated on the first stage, the path of stream entry, that can be considered of move up the mind to what is called Sotapatti Magga or Sotaban. So the doubt is completely eliminated at the first stage. So that means when you are walking on the path or you are coming to the path, the doubt is removed. And then when you are able to move yourself to the higher level of the path, or we call it noble path, the sensual desire, ill will, and the remorse are eliminated on the third stage, the path of non-returner, or what we call it anagami magga. And the sloth-torpor and the restlessness are completely eradicated on the path of the arahantaship, arahanta magga. So hence the reward of the fight against the hindrances is not only the limit of making possible shorter or longer spell of the meditation, but every step is awakening the hindrances that take us near to the stage of the sanctity, where the deliverance from these hindrances is unshakable. Though most of the following texts that translated from the discourse of the Buddha and commentaries are mostly addresses to the monk, they are likewise valid for those living a worldly life. As the old master said, the monk means bhikkhu is mentioned here as an example of those dedicated to the practice of the teaching. So whosoever undertakes this practice is here including the term monk, means samana. So today we will scan into one by one of the 5 hindrances. We'd like to mention a little bit about general text about the hindrances. There are 5 hindrances or impediment or hindrances, overgrowth of the mind that's really stultify insight. Let's see what they are. The sensual desire, as I mentioned, is the first hindrance. An overgrowth of the mind that really stultifies the insight. In will, sloth-torpor, restlessness, and remorse, skeptical doubt are the rest of the hindrances that can be overgrown in the mind. Without having overcome these 5 hindrances, it is impossible for the monk whose insight lacks strength and power to know his own true good, the good of other and the good of both, nor will be capable of realizing that superhuman state of the distinctive achievement, the knowledge and the vision enabling the attainment of the sanctity. That was mentioned by Buddha. Again, the Buddha mentioned further that, but if the monk has overcome these hindrances, this overgrowth of the mind that's stultified insight, then it is possible that with his strong insight, he can know his own true good, the good of others, and the good of both. And he will be capable of realizing the superhuman state of distinctive achievement, the knowledge and the vision that enabling the attainment of the sanctity. I think this one is from Anguttara Nikaya. So the other sutta also mentioned the same, that one whose heart is overwhelmed by the unrestrained covetousness will do what he should not do and neglect what he ought to do, and through that his good name and his happiness will come to ruin. But one whose heart is overwhelmed by ill will, by sloth-torpor, by restlessness and remorse, and also by skeptical doubt, will do what he should not do and neglect what he is supposed to do. And through that, his good name and his happiness will come to ruin. These are the destructive mind of the one who not removing the hindrances. But if the noble disciple has seen these five as a defilement of the mind, he will give them up. And doing so, he is regarded as of the great wisdom, one of the great wisdom of abandoned wisdom, clear vision, well endowed with the wisdom, and this is called endowment with wisdom. This one is also come from the Anguttara Nikaya. I would like to mention the last one, and it also appears in the Anguttara Nikaya to confirm that, to insist that the hindrances should be removed or using the Ankachana to remove. Anyway, it must not be appear during the Kammatthana or the meditation. The Buddha said there are 5 impurities of the gold that impair, by which is not pliant and wieldy, lack radiance, is brittle and cannot be wrought well. What are these 5 impurities? The iron, copper, tin, lead, and silver. But if the gold has been free from these 5 impurities, then it will be appliant and radiant and firm, and can be wrought well. Whatever the ornaments one wishes to make from it, be it a diadem, earring, or necklace, or a golden chain, it will serve that purpose. Similarly, there are 5 impurities of the mind that impair, by which the mind is not radiant or pliant, lacking of radiance, the lucidity and firmness, and cannot concentrate well upon the eradication of the taint. Taint means asava kilesa. And then what are these five impurities? They are sensual desire, ill will, sloth, torpor, restlessness, remorse, and skeptical doubt. But if the mind is free from these impurities, it will pliant and wieldy, will have a radiant lucidity and firmness, and will concentrate well upon the eradication of the taint. Whatever the state realizable by the higher mental faculties, one may direct the mind to one will in each case that acquire the capacity of the realization, if the conditions are fulfilled. So these are the sutta and the nikaya that insist the really importance of removal of the what's so called nivarana or hindrances, or as impurities that can impurify the meditation and also life. Now we go to focus one by one and see the means that we can apply to remove the hindrances. The first one is sensual desire. In terms of nourishment of the sensual desire, there are the beautiful objects. Frequently giving unwise attention to them, this is the nourishment of the arising of the sensual desire that has not arisen, and the nourishing of for the increasing and strengthening of the sensual desire that has already arisen. There was mentioned in the Samyutta Nikaya. In the opposite, the nourishing of the sensual desire, there are impure objects which is used for the meditation. Frequently giving a wise attention to them, this is the nourishing of the arising of the sensual desire that has not yet arisen, and the nourishing of the increase and strengthening of the sensual desire that has already arisen. So this is how we denourishing the sensual desire or destroy, or whatever we want to call as remove. So there are 6 things that can abandon the sensual desires. So this is the way how to remove. First one is learning how to meditate on the impure object. This one is really wonderful that I used to practice along with my moms and my teacher in India. What we call it asubha kammatthana, by introspecting, contemplating the dead body, the scalp, the face, the body, the shape of the body that consisting of the bones structure. You will see this thing actually just the bone, just flesh and the skin. The attractiveness is actually the thought, we just thinking, we thought that, oh, this is very beautiful, this is so attractive, which is, sometimes we experience that a lot of people are not agreeing with me that I identify this lady as beautiful lady, beautiful girl, adorable, many people are not agreeing with me, and you also sometimes have the same experience as I do. My beauty and other beauties are different. That is a very good example of how to, uh, uh, remove, and especially if you sit down and meditate on the unattractive nature of all things, especially something that you used to attach to. For example, the cloth, the material, the iPhone or the car, anything, especially the ornaments, the wristwatch, that you used to go enjoy your shopping and you thought that they are all attractive. But if you contemplate it wisely and more oftenly, you will see all these things are getting older and older, getting changed every day, and maybe it's going to be, you're going to lose it, the separation between you and the material is always happen unexpectedly. So if you contemplate by this way, and if you able to provide to have the asubha kammatthana, that will be really benefiting your any kind of meditation, especially in the vipassana. So the first one is recommend all of you to learn, how to meditate on the impure object. And then the second method that I use is devoting myself to the meditation on impure. You have to be really regularly contemplate on the impure object. And then the third one is you have to be guarding the sense doors. For example, ear, eye, nose, tongue. You have to be careful. You have to be mindfully open when you eating, when you're hearing, when you are seeing things. It has to be controlled, or you have to really fully apply your mindfulness. And the third method that I apply, as always, is the moderation of eating. If you can eating only 1 or 2 meals a day, you will find, you will see that your life is in moderation in terms of consumption, the food consumption, and hanging out with the noble friends, because always the noble friends will give you a knowledge, we give you a reminders that when you are in the wrong side, or supporting you more and more if you are on the right side. So hanging out with the noble friendship is a really good way to promote your meditation in terms of removal of the hindrances. The last one is limitation of the conservation, means you should talk only what you should talk, what's supposed to be talk. Talk less but practice more, study more but talk less, limit the conversation, I mean you can communicate things with the people but bring it into consideration first that what you supposed to talk or when you supposed to keep quiet and listen listening or sutta or sota it's very good Pali word that meaning learning you cannot learn by keep talking but you can learn a lot by keep listening นะครับ so these are the some ways or 6 ways that I summarize for you that how to remove the hindrances kama chanta and then I will talk a little bit more about actually I brought out the Anguttara Nikaya as the one sutta that he mentioned about the contemplation of the impure object. It's saying that impure object refer to the particular to the symmetry meditation as given in the Satipatthana Sutta and explained in the Visuddhimagga. In the Visuddhimagga, the Asubha Kammatthana is always along with the Satipatthana meditation, which is referred to the repulsive aspect of the sense object in general. Saying that here in the monk reflects on just this body confined within the skin and full of manifold impurity from the soul upwards and from the top of the hair down. There is in this body hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, bones, marrow, kidney, heart, liver, pleura, spleen, lung, intestine, bowel, stomach, excrement, bile, pus, the blood, sweat, fat, tear, lymph, saliva, mucus, fluid of joints, urine. These are the object, the physical object or the internal organs that we can think about. You don't need to dissect or open, cut to see it, to contemplate it, but by just imagination, by just think of them, you can realize that they are actually the body that we used to think that is very attractive or beautiful. They are composed of what I have been saying, the blood, the spleen. They actually not, it's impure. They are not beautiful. They are not attractive. We can even imagine of them, and then but we have to contemplate. That's what I mean. And then the second ill will, which is called the second hindrance, which is called ill will. For the nourishment of the ill will, there are objects that causing aversion. Frequently giving unwise attention to them. This is a nourishment for something that's arising of ill will that has not yet arisen, and for increasing and strengthening of the ill will that has already arisen. To denourish the ill will, there is the liberation of the heart by loving kindness, frequently giving a wise attention to it. This is the denourishing of the arising of the ill will that has not yet arisen, and the decrease and weakening of the ill will that has already arisen. So in this Nikaya, which is come from the Samyutta Nikaya, mentioned that the loving kindness is the key for remove, or is the mean or the methodology to remove the ill will by cultivation of the loving kindness meditation, the cultivation of the compassion, cultivation of the sympathetic joy, and the cultivation of the equanimity state of mind, and all the angles of the ill will disappear and is replaced by a loving kindness. I think this one is I used to read from the Majjhima Nikaya, also has confirmation of the Brahma Vihara as the tool to eliminate the ill will. But however, I have summarized the 6 ways to overcome the ill will. Again, the first one is we have to learn to meditate the loving kindness as always, and it's not very difficult. It's very simple, very common way, that you can apply the opposite Dhamma in order to speculate the opposite. If you feel having an anger, try to thinking about loving kindness. That will be really change your mind upside down. But if you can practice it as always, that means you are slowly cultivating the loving kindness that embody in your mind, and the ill will disappear. It will never come to visit you again. So the meditation on the loving kindness is a very wonderful tools to remove or eliminate the anger or the ill will. But not only practice, but you have to devote yourself in the meditation of the loving kindness. As you devote yourself for the meditation of the impure body, asubha kammatthana. But here, instead of that, you devote yourself for the loving kindness. You don't need to meditate every time when you want to cultivate the loving kindness. Loving kindness can be put into an action. The action that you can imply to the loving kindness is Sankha Vatu. The 4 สังคหวัตถุ หรือในภาษาไทยเราเรียกว่าสังคหวัตถุ 4 ดานะ ปิยวาจา อัตตจริยา samanatata. These are the 4 ways to put your loving kindness into action, and that is a cultivation of the loving kindness. And if you can do along both sides, applying the Sankhaha Vatu, see, put them into action, and also meditation of the loving kindness. So this package of this turned to be a 2 packages of the cultivation of the loving kindness, and that will remove completely, totally the ill will. You have to always considering that one owner, we are owner of our action, we are the owner of the action, so that you will stop blame others and you will not be angry, คือเราต้องพยายามพิจารณาว่าความโกรธหรือความผิดพลาดทั้งหลายเนี่ยที่มันเกิดขึ้นที่ทำให้เรารู้สึกว่าเราไม่พอใจหรือเราไม่มีความสุขเนี่ยมันไม่ใช่เป็นการกระทำของคนอื่นมันเป็นการกระทำของเราเองทั้งนั้นเรามีกรรมเป็นของตัวเองที่เราทุกข์หรือเราสุขหรือเราพอใจหรือเราไม่พอใจสิ่งใดสิ่งหนึ่งสิ่งแวดล้อมไม่พอใจคนอื่นไม่พอใจลูกไม่พอใจภรรยาสามีไม่พอใจวัตถุเช่นรถหรือโทรศัพท์มือถือสิ่งเหล่านี้ที่ทำให้เกิดเราความไม่พอใจเกิดขึ้นกับเรามันเป็นเพราะเรามันไม่ใช่เพราะคนอื่นหรอกนี่คือการหมั่นพิจารณาว่าเรามีกรรมเป็นของตนเองเราเป็นเจ้าของกรรมมันจะทำให้เราแทนที่จะไปกล่าวหาหรือโทษหรือว่าไปเบลมคนอื่นเนี่ยไปกล่าวหาคนอื่นว่าเป็นต้นเหตุเป็นสาเหตุของความทุกข์ของเราเนี่ยมันจะน้อยลงหรืออาจจะไม่มีเลยนะเราจะไม่ไปตัดสินคนอื่นว่าคุณเป็นคนดีคุณเป็นคนไม่ดีคุณเป็นสาเหตุของทำให้เกิดความทุกข์นะครับการเบลมเหล่านี้การไปกล่าวร้ายป้ายสีคนอื่นแบบนี้การไปโทษคนโน้นคนนี้ว่าเป็นเหตุของความทุกข์ให้เกิดขึ้นกับตัวเราเนี่ยมันจะค่อยๆน้อยลงไปเมื่อเราพิจารณาว่าทุกการกระทำเนี่ยที่เป็นกรรมเนี่ยมันเกิดขึ้นจากตัวเรานะพอเราไม่โทษคนอื่นว่าเป็นสาเหตุของความทุกข์เนี่ยความโกรธมันก็จะหายไปความโกรธมันอยู่ไม่ได้หรอกครับนะเพราะมันไม่มีอ็อบเจกต์มันไม่มีวัตถุหรือบุคคลที่เป็นอารมณ์ของความโกรธเราซะแล้วมันก็จะไม่มีความโกรธเกิดขึ้นนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นมันพิจารณาว่าเรามีกรรมเป็นของตัวเองนะเราเป็นเจ้าของกรรมนี้นะถ้าพิจารณาได้อย่างนี้บ่อยๆทุกเนืองๆนะครับความโกรธก็จะค่อยๆอันตรธานจากชีวิตเราไปนะครับคือพูดง่ายๆว่าอย่าไปโทษคนอื่นเวลาเรามีความทุกข์อย่าไปโทษคนอื่นนะโอปะนะยิโกมองเข้ามาข้างในมองเข้ามาในตัวเราก่อนถ้าเราจะพบครับว่าความทุกข์ที่เกิดขึ้นเนี่ยส่วนใหญ่เลยความทุกข์ใจนะมันเกิดขึ้นที่ใจมันเกิดขึ้นกับเรามันเกิดขึ้นจากเราทั้งนั้นมุมมองความคิดนะครับการกระทำที่เป็นต้นเหตุจริงๆมันเกิดจากเราถ้าส่วนใหญ่มันจะเกิดจากข้างในนะครับโดยเฉพาะความทุกข์ที่มันเกิดขึ้นกับใจเนี่ยมันเกิดขึ้นมันมีสาเหตุมาเกิดขึ้นจากข้างในเกิดขึ้นจากใจเกิดขึ้นจากเจตนาของเราที่มันไม่ถูกต้องมันก็เลยเป็นต้นเหตุของความทุกข์นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเวลาเราทุกข์ขึ้นมาเนี่ยอย่าเพิ่งไปชี้ไปที่คนอื่น อย่าเที่ยวไปมองคนอื่นให้มองพระพุทธเจ้าบอกว่าให้มองเข้ามาหาตัวเองก่อนนะแล้วจริงๆแล้วมองได้ถนัดมากกว่ามองคนอื่นนะครับมองแล้วเห็นได้เร็วมากกว่าการที่จะไปค้นหาความผิดพลาดของคนอื่นซึ่งบางทีคนส่วนใหญ่ก็พยายามจะปิดบังข้อผิดพลาดของตนเองเราจึงมองเห็นเขาไม่ค่อยได้แต่เรามักจะว่ากล่าวหรือให้ร้ายเขาเสียก่อนไปล่วงหน้าเสียก่อนนั่นกลายเป็นสร้างปัญหาให้มันรุนแรงขึ้นหรือขยายวงกว้างขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นง่ายที่สุดคือมองตัวเรานะครับแล้วถ้ามองเข้าไปถึงจิตใจเลยเนี่ยเราก็จะพบต้นเหตุว่าเรานี่แหละคือสาเหตุไม่ต้องไปโทษคนอื่นนะครับซึ่งวิธีนี้ง่ายมากนะครับนั่นคือวิธีที่3นะครับ the third method how to remove the ill willแล้วก็ oftenly reflect for example one should consider the being angry with another person what can you do to him can you destroy his virtue or his good quality have you not come to your present state by own action and will also hence according to your own action the anger towards another is just as if someone wishing hit another person take hold of glowing a coal พยายามสะท้อนความคิดว่าให้เห็นว่าการที่เราไปโกรธคนอื่นเนี่ยคนที่ทุกข์เนี่ยไม่ใช่คนที่ถูกเราโกรธนะครับคนที่ทุกข์มากที่สุดคนที่ถูกเราโกรธหรือว่ากล่าวด้วยคำหยาบคายใดๆก็ช่างเขาอาจจะมีความทุกข์แน่นอนครับส่วนใหญ่มีความทุกข์น้อยกว่าตัวเราเองนะครับซึ่งเป็นผู้โกรธถ้าเราพิจารณาได้อย่างนี้เนี่ยมันจะค่อยๆทำลายความโกรธลงไปเรื่อยๆพระพุทธเจ้าทรงเปรียบเปรยเหมือนกับคนโกรธเหมือนกับการถือแท่งเหล็กที่กำลังร้อนอยู่นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นย่อมมีความทุกข์นะครับคนที่ถูกเราโกรธเนี่ยกำลังถูกเราถือแท่งเหล็กที่ร้อนมากๆเลยชี้ไปที่หน้าเขาไม่ร้อนหรอกครับคนที่ร้อนมากที่สุดคือมือเราตัวเราความโกรธก็เป็นอย่างนั้นนะครับถ้าเราหมั่นพิจารณาได้อย่างนี้บ่อยๆนะครับความโกรธจะค่อยๆทุเลาเราจะค่อยๆละความโกรธไปนะครับครั้งละเล็กครั้งละน้อยจนกระทั่งเราจะไม่พบความโกรธในขณะที่เราเจริญกรรมฐานหรือนั่งสมาธินะครับ and then the next one the same thing hanging out with the good people the noble friendship is very good นะครับเวลาเราคบกับคนดีเนี่ยเรามีเพื่อนดีมีมิตรดีมีมิตรแท้เขาก็จะตักเตือนเรานะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยก็พยายามเลือกคบแต่เพื่อนที่ดีเพื่อนที่มีสัมมาทิฏฐินะครับมีความคิดอ่านมีความคิดเห็นที่ถูกต้องโดยเฉพาะคนที่มีธรรมะอยู่ในใจอยู่ตลอดเวลาเนี่ยก็จะเห็นช่องทางในการที่จะตักเตือนเรานะครับเพราะฉะนั้น hanging out with the good people นะครับแล้วก็พยายาม the conversation the communication the speech we call it วาจาหรือวจีกรรมเนี่ยสำคัญมากครับ try to avoid over conversation พยายามศึกษาให้มากฟังให้มากพูดให้น้อยอย่าไปพูดเยอะอย่าคุยเยอะครับคำพูดของคนเราเนี่ยนะครับเป็นถ้าเราลองดูสิครับคนเราโกรธกันเนี่ยเพราะว่าถูกด่าบางคนโกรธเพราะว่าโดนคำเตือนคำดูหมิ่นเห็นไหมครับเพราะฉะนั้นวาจาหรือคำพูดเนี่ยสำคัญมากๆเพราะฉะนั้นเราบางครั้งเราเลือกที่จะเป็นคนเงียบเลือกที่จะเป็นคนฟังมากๆเนี่ยมันจะช่วยให้ปริมาณของความโกรธเนี่ยมันลดลงเราโกรธกันเพราะว่าเราพูดเราโกรธกันเพราะว่าเราด่าทอเราโกรธกันเพราะว่าพูดไม่พูดความจริงเห็นไหมครับเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเราตัดสินว่าเราจะไม่พูดมันก็จะไม่มีความโกรธเกิดขึ้นจากการที่ได้ยินคำเท็จได้ยินคำส่อเสียดได้ยินคำด่าวาจาไม่สุภาพเห็นไหมครับนี่คือบทบาทของ conversation ของการสนทนาของการพูดคุยถ้าเราลดปริมาณลงได้ความโกรธก็จะลดลงนะครับเป็นอุบายง่ายๆนะครับที่เราฝึกกันได้แล้วเราจะเห็นครับว่าความสำคัญของconversation การสนทนาที่จำเป็นที่ถูกต้องจริงๆเราเลือกเฉพาะคำสนทนาหรือพูดคุยที่มีสาระให้ประโยชน์ทั้งตัวเราเองทั้งคนฟังคำพูดเหล่านั้นเนี่ยส่วนใหญ่จะไม่ทำให้เกิดความโกรธนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นก็หลีกเลี่ยงได้ These are only two hindrances that I brought up today and the way how to remove. We will come back next Saturday early morning again to complete the rest of the hindrances and the way to remove the hindrances. Thank you very much today for watching this program. I hope my talk today will give you less or more the benefit how to remove the hindrances from the meditation and also from your life. We'll come back to see you again next Saturday. Thank you for watching this program and goodbye. Pass this back to